This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Springfest at Lowe's means can't miss savings for your home and lawn. Right now, buy 3 bags, get 3 free on Miracle-Gro 3/4 cubic foot all-purpose garden soil. Plus, buy 2, get 1 free on select exterior paint and stain via mail-in rebate. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 4/16, excludes Alaska and Hawaii. While supplies last, selection varies by location. See rebate form for complete list of eligible products. Offer excludes clearance and mistints and can't be combined with any other offer, promotion, discount, or coupon.
I told him that the glass was moving, and he said, I can't come now. It's COVID. You'll have to wait, and you can fix it yourself.
Okay, and now, Mr. Cawley, how long have you been in the business?
34 years.
This is the plaintiff, Christina Cachese. She says she hired the defendant to install a glass splash guard in her bath, and he botched the job big time. Her grandchildren could have been severely hurt because he didn't fasten the thick, heavy glass properly. It was a disaster waiting to happen. And she wants the $2,355 it's going to cost her to fix the defendant's shoddy work. So she's suing for just that. This is the defendant, Scott Cawley. He says he installed the glass shower wall properly. Then, a few months later, the woman demanded he drop everything and drive 3 hours to her house because she wanted it re-caulked. He doesn't know what the plaintiff did or how she treated the glass months after the job, and he can't believe she's suing him for all this money when the cost of the original job was only $900. He's accused of being all wet.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Good morning, Judge.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good. It's nice to see you.
Great to see you. Litigants have been sworn.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Ms. Cachese, you are suing Scott Cawley and C&C Glass Company, represented here by Mr. Cawley, who's the owner, for $2,355 because, according to you, he botched a job at your home. Tell me what happened, please.
I had a glass spray shield installed in my bathroom.
Okay.
And at the time, I was not living there.
All right.
I moved in 2020, May 2020.
All right.
And I noticed that the glass was moving back and forth. So I called him and I said,
okay, but when did he do the job?
Something's wrong.
When did he do the job?
The end of 2018.
Okay, but you didn't wait to, I realize you didn't move into the house because you were still doing other remodeling work, but you paid him in 2018. So when you paid him in 2018, before you paid him, did you look at the job?
I looked at the job and it looked fine.
Okay, and this is what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the idea is that there's an opening and you step into the opening, right? But there's no actual shower door.
Yes.
That's the idea. Okay, I got it. So when you paid him back then, everything looked fine. When did you discover that things were not fine?
When I moved into the house.
Okay, and when did you move into the house?
I moved into the house early May 2020.
So when you come in, after it never being used, and 2 years pass?
Well, a year and a half.
When did he complete?
2019.
Hold on one second. When did he complete the work?
November 2018.
Is that correct, sir? November 2018 is when you completed the work?
October of 2018, ma'am.
Okay, either way, October, November 2018. And when did you first say to him, you need to come back and fix this?
May 2020.
Okay. Does that sound right that she first contacted you in May 2020, sir?
No, it would have been May of this year, ma'am, Your Honor. It would be May of 2021.
Okay, so how did you contact him, Ms. Kachese? Did you contact him by text or email?
No, I phoned him.
Do you have any proof of having phoned him in May of 2020?
No, I don't.
Okay.
However, I did speak to him on the phone in 2020, and I told him that the glass was moving. And he said, I can't come now. It's COVID. You'll have to wait, and you can fix it yourself.
Okay. And now, Mr. Cawley, how long have you been in the business?
34 years.
Okay. I want you to look at the screen, this video.
Ridiculous.
Her complaint is there that there's movement on this, that, you know, as you can see, there's actually, it's kind of a engineering marvel that there could be that much movement, because I don't even see hinges on the other side. Are there any hinges?
No, that's actually glued into a channel that's screwed onto the wall.
Okay, so the channel gets screwed onto the wall, and then is there a channel? Why isn't the channel on the bottom screwed in?
For one reason, the water finds its way through, causes a problem. So 99%
But how come
of the time,
the screws on the channel on the vertical one don't cause a problem?
because they're vertical. They're not in the bottom where water's going to find its way down through gravity.
Yeah.
And it's caulked besides. So I'm not saying that water would leak through the screw hole.
Okay,
It's just
how does
sometimes
this
it
get
does.
repaired? She doesn't like the movement. How does this get repaired? You just
All
caulk
we
it
do
again?
is we use a very high bond silicone that they use for aquariums and high-end shower doors. Not $4 a tube like Home Depot. It's $50 a tube. I sent you the evidence. We have the actual tube here.
I got to imagine that you got better things to do than be in court. Like, you know, Douglas and I are fine because this is what we do. May I just say it's a pleasure.
I mean, we did over 300
Okay.
doors. We did over 300 doors, and we never had a complaint.
No, but why didn't you just go fix the latest thing?
We were shut down completely.
COVID
I went through
2020.
major surgery.
There you go.
I went through a major
When was your
surgery, and I
surgery?
sent her an email.
When was your surgery?
They did a reconstruction of
When
my
was
foot.
your surgery?
Actually, my surgery was done at the end of October of last year.
Of 2020?
They actually reconstructed. They actually cut your heel off.
Of 2020?
Of 2020, yes.
Oh, well then,
yes.
if that's a reason you didn't go fix it, I guess she did complain in 2020.
No, she actually, I'm still in the booth.
I asked you why you didn't
I'm
fix
still in
it.
the
Can you
booth.
just
I'm still-
explain to me why you didn't fix it? If you're telling me stuff that happened in 2020, you're kind of killing your case.
Here's the whole, Judge Milian, here's the whole reason. I gave her a price on a new shower stall. After I gave her the price of $1,200, it was too much money, she said. So that's when the complaint started. There was no complaints about the shower.
Well, then why are you telling me about your foot surgery 7 months earlier as a reason for why?
I'm not
Stop
going,
talking and listen.
That's the reason I didn't go in May.
What? But no, if your foot surgery was October of 2020, how is that an excuse for not fixing her complaints? Whenever her complaints were. I'm asking you, no, don't talk over me. Don't talk over me. Let me mansplain to you what my question is. Okay. Then you can give me your answer. But first, let me explain my question. I asked you very specifically, why didn't you go to her house and just fix it? It's a $50 tube or something. You're going to use an inch of the $50 tube, and then you don't get sued because you got better things to do. And you launch into surgery you had in October 2020. All right, never mind, okay, because that kind of, she's giggling because that kind of proves her point that she complained earlier. Let's forget about when she complained. I have a very simple question. Let's say she complained 2 weeks ago. Why wouldn't you just send somebody to recaulk it so you wouldn't end up in court?
First thing is I'm a sole proprietorship, and we've been closed because of the COVID.
Are you still closed now, or are you doing work?
Well, kind of, because I'm still disabled. I'm still in the boot. I'm still waiting for another surgery. So even if she wanted
were you retired? Completely.
No, I'm not retired.
No, you take if I called you tomorrow for a glass shower stall and I was willing to pay you $1,500, you'd come, right? Let's stop playing. You could have sent somebody over there. The question, don't talk over me. You got to stop talking over me. The question is, do you have to send somebody over there? And the question is, you are suing to get the return, not of the $900 you paid him, but very interestingly, 3 times that, $2,355. How do you figure?
I figured because he told me that expenses were on the rise. It costs him so much money to come here with his gasoline
Can
and the
I
truck
ask you a
and
question? Did you
installing,
ever call
and
somebody
also,
to come and recock it? Because that's really your measure of damages, paying somebody to caulk. That you don't bring me. And then what you bring me, you tell me that the other people said he did it wrong. Can you show me where is the proof that the other people said he did it wrong?
No.
Then I am ready to rule. So here's what I've got when everything is distilled to its essence. I have work that was done in 2018. Nowhere here does it have a warranty, correct? Okay. Payment that was received in 2018. Complaints that happened either in 2020 or 2021, can't quite figure it out, and a demand that it be repaired in either 2020 or 2021 2 years later. This is not a $2,355 case. I have you claiming the other people said his work was shoddy. I have nothing from the other people saying his work was shoddy. And there is no evidence of how much recocking would cost. But the question I have to answer is there some kind of warranty where he would have to subsidize the recocking? And there isn't, according to the estimate you got. Your first complaint at best is almost 2 years later. The recocking, which is what will solve it, is on you. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, the judge finds for the defendant in this case. The plaintiff just didn't have the ammunition to prove her testimony. She was upset at the end. Let's see what she has to say. Ms. Kachasi, what are you thinking right now?
It's very unfair. This is his livelihood.
Why do you say that?
And he did terrible. His reputation is down.
The judge thinks it's a fixable thing, and you could fix it. I'm sorry.
He won't fix it.
That's her decision.
He won't fix it. He won't come and fix it.
Well, you know, you didn't prove you complained in time, Ms. Kachasi. I'm sorry. But let's see what Mr.
He
Crowley
knows
has
that
to
he
say.
received phone calls from me. He's lying.
All right. Well, we've heard your testimony. I'm sorry the judge couldn't find in your behalf. Mr. Crowley, let me ask you, how do you feel about the outcome? I know you're relieved, but what do you think of what she had to say to you?
I agree totally with it. We stand behind our work. We have a perfect 5.5-star rating on Google. We've never had a bad review.
All right. Well, I guess what? You got a bad review this time. So you have one bad review after all these years. Sorry about that.
Thank you very much.
But that's the judge's verdict. Okay. All right, let's see what Harvey has to say about this case now. Harvey?
Doug, it is simple as this, that when you hire somebody to do something and it's not right, do not sit on your hands. You've got to complain immediately. You've got to make a case. You've got to send an email or a text outlining what's wrong. If you sit on your hands, you'll lose.
Have you ever been so mad at a litigant or a defendant that you took out your anger on the people in the following case?
Oh, no. I think it's, I mean, I do get mad,
right.
But I think also in my personal life, I know this will come as a shocker, but I do get mad. Oh, no. But I think I get over it pretty easily. And
you definitely do on the bench. I mean,
you don't think at home?
well,
I don't like your tone.
Just a minute. But that's like going home after a tough day and
kicking
the
your dog.
Yeah,
that's
just
the
don't
proverbial.
Do that.
You don't do that.
It's just not done.
Yeah.
And you know, judges have to have patience. And you've said this a million times that when you put a robe on somebody, it enhances and amplifies their traits, good and bad.
Yes.
So you know, you just got to be darn sure before you give them a robe and a gavel. Just like before you give a police officer a badge and a gun, that they're the right kind of person, that they're never going to abuse that power, and they're not going to kick the litigants in the next case
right.
over the one that they just
well
heard,
put.
Right?
Well put.
This episode is brought to you by Walmart. New beauty is in bloom at Walmart, and it's all about springtime radiance. From Drybar, Tula Skincare, and hundreds more available online. Walmart has the premium brands you want and this season's on-trend products for flawless, glossy hair and hydrated skin. Big name beauty brands? Check. The things you love? Check. Find trending spring beauty and all you need to look and feel gorgeous at Walmart, on app and online.
Switch to Verizon Business and get more from your internet without paying more for your internet. Get LTE Business Internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data, and with it, unlimited possibilities. Start saving today with Verizon Business, ranked #1 in small business internet customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Starting price for 25 megabits per second LTE internet plan with smartphone plan savings, plus taxes, fees, and economic adjustment charge. Terms apply. For J.D. Power 2024 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards.
This is the plaintiff, John Candace. He says he purchased what was supposed to be a pre-programmed Firestick from the defendant, and the guy sent him a piece of junk. He's been back and forth with the defendant for months. He's had it with this guy and his lies, and is suing for the $106 he's now owed. This is the defendant, Augustin Bertolin. He says he doesn't want to be rude, but the plaintiff's like an old man who doesn't understand technology. He sent him a pre-programmed Firestick in good working order. He did nothing wrong, and he's not returning any money. He's accused of sticking it to the man.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he purchased what was supposed to be a pre-programmed Firestick. Says he didn't get what he paid for. But the defendant says the guy doesn't understand how technology works, and he's not giving him a refund. It's the case of sticking it to the man.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Candies, you are suing Mr. Bertolin for $106 that you paid in order to try to get a Firestick he was selling working as advertised. So tell me where it is that you heard about the defendant and whatever item he was selling there.
I had a friend of mine who told me about the stick, and then I ordered one, and it worked for about 3 days.
Okay, but what's special about his Firestick?
That he loads it with a lot more information and apps that you can do, including getting local television and other things like HBO stars.
At no cost?
Much more. That was included with the cost.
Right, but no subscription cost?
No.
Right. So, Mr. Bertolin, explain what it is you do, because it like doubles the cost of the Firestick, I guess.
So what I do, I spend time programming this Firestick for you to be able to watch movies.
Okay. Well, you talk about HBO. HBO, I pay for. I pay like a chump every month. So how are you able to put HBO on it?
So there's streaming apps, Your Honor. It's just a matter of knowing how to download them.
Right. But you still need a subscription to use HBO. Right? If I buy a Firestick from you, do I get free HBO?
Yes, you do.
Well, then you're bootlegging, because HBO doesn't sell you free HBO. I mean, you're not...
Well...
So you've decided to steal cable. That's kind of where we are here.
No, not at all.
How is it that you are able to have HBO working on these Firesticks if the person doesn't have a subscription?
It's just an app. I know where to get it, but I didn't create the app. I know how to download it, so it's a streaming device. It gets links for everywhere.
So who's violating the law, them, you, or the guy trying to buy it? I don't know, somebody is. Let's put a pin in that, and let's talk about some other things. You get the Firestick, and it works. Does it work for you, Mr. Candice, or it doesn't work for you?
It doesn't now. When I originally got it, it worked for, like I said, about 3 days. Then you could not pick up the extra things that he put on there.
Like,
you know, Showtime.
Okay, so let me ask you, because I just throttled his cage a little on this issue. Why are you special and you don't have to pay for HBO or Stars or all the stuff that us chumps have to pay? Are you paying for HBO and stuff?
I'm one of those chumps.
Why do we chumps have to pay a subscription fee? Because you're not an angel here either. You're trying to basically, you know, in the old days we used to call it stealing cable, right? So you're trying to get it without subscription fee payment either, right?
Well, no, I didn't know that was on there. It was.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that was on. This was extra stuff that was on the stick. And when I opened the apps up, then I could see.
So then why are you complaining that you can't see them?
I can't now.
Yeah, but why are you complaining about it?
I had to send the stick back.
Right, yeah, but why are you complaining that you couldn't see them if you didn't even want them? Like, you know.
Well, actually, I don't watch the HBOs and stuff like that. That's on there. There's a lot of other things that are on there. Hundreds of things, of different apps, the sports apps and all those other things.
So what stopped working after 3 days?
The home page would not come up, and then you could not find. If you wanted to look up HBO or something, you wouldn't find it. You had.
But you wouldn't be looking up HBO because that would be stealing HBO.
Well, I wouldn't do. I don't care for HBO. So it didn't work as he advertised.
All right. So you send it back to him and you ask him to fix it. And what happens? Does he fix it?
Yes. The first time he said he fixed it, he did send it back. I got that, and then there was nothing on there.
All right. So now on that second one, you send it back to him and ask him to fix it. And what does he do?
He told me he would fix it. Never heard anything.
All right. So let me hear from you on that, Mr. Bertolin. What's the deal with the stick after the second time he sent it back to you?
Your Honor, I was watching your phrases and I want to say something. El que no la debe, no la teme. Right? He who has nothing to hide has nothing to fear.
Okay.
Right? Okay, here's the thing. I sold the Firestick to his friend, right? Then he got it. Then I remember he kept calling me because he needed help.
The plaintiff.
Right. We tried to do FaceTime, and he didn't even know how to do FaceTime. So he sends it back, and I didn't even check it. I just replaced it with another one. Then he comes back to me again that there was nothing in there. So the third time he sent it to me, I checked it. It was programmed. I sent it back, but unfortunately, I did not save the receipt. So the last text that I got from him, he was like, "Did you fix it?" Without a good morning, without a please. I mean, I don't play like that.
I'm not understanding.
He started being rude.
I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, he's rude, but let me understand something. You have no proof you ever sent it back?
No, I do not. I trashed the receipts, though.
So all we know, the last piece of proof we have is him sending it to you and then neither getting the Firestick nor his money back.
Right, but here's the thing. How about he shows you what I told him that I wanted to give him the money back? I pretty much told him, I do not want to deal with you anymore.
So did you give him the money back?
No, he said no. He said that he needed a stick. He didn't accept the money back.
Not true.
You show me the text. When are the, what
Here's
day?
The thing, Your Honor. I do not have the text either.
Oh my gosh, how many things do you not have? I'm going to tell you, you told me that dicho, that saying, I'm going to tell you a different one. Es tiempo de temer porque va a deber. Okay, it's time to start fearing because you're going to...
I never thought...
If you don't, I understand. But how do you think it's going to go in court? The last item of proof is him sending it back to you. So how do I know you sent it back to him? Maybe you're just done with him. I mean, especially if you want to give him his money back. So if you're saying I would have given him his money back, why am I here? The guy wants the $86 he paid you plus $20 of the shipping costs from him going back and forth, which he does have proof of. So why wouldn't I award him that money?
I mean, now I'm just mad. I mean, I tried to help the guy. I tried to... Who does this for a Firestick? I mean, what a joke.
Yeah, I'm done. Stick a fork in me, I'm done. Okay, I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of the $106. Verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Bertolin, what do you think about the judge's decision? You can't be too surprised, I would imagine.
Well, I am surprised because I tried to help him and he didn't want my help. I mean, who sues a person for a Firestick? I mean, this guy's a joke.
He may be a joke, but you got to give him his money back, $106. Mr. Candace, let me ask you, there's a lot you've gone through a lot over an item that cost, $75 to begin with. Was it worth it?
In a way it was. It's a self-satisfaction because he was very sharp, curt, and disrespectful. I don't have an iPhone, so I can't do the FaceTime, so it's frustrating.
Well, you're a happy camper anyway. You get your money back. That's what you sued for. And so congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay. Harvey?
Well, here's the downside to this case. These guys now are on television, and it's very clear they're up to no good loading up HBO programming on this Firestick, which then kind of circumvents the idea of paying for what you get. Caveat emptor.
I noticed the scales of justice that were on the set when you were taping from your home between you and your husband, John, is lower on your side. Does that infer that you are the heavy in the relationship?
I think it probably implies that I put more crystals on that side, because I think that's what we have weighing them.
So you must have done that
So
surreptitiously.
no.
I didn't know. I wasn't aware.
However, I am the heavy in this relationship. You're the fun guy. The kids always thought you were the fun guy, and I was a disciplinarian.
Well, we have like the whole good cop, bad cop thing going on.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was never really a runner. The way I see running is a gift, especially when you have stage 4 cancer. I'm Anne. I'm running the Boston Marathon, presented by Bank of America. I run for Dana-Farber Cancer Institute to give people like me a chance to thrive in life, even with cancer.
Join Bank of America in helping Anne's cause. Give if you can at BofA.com/supportAnne. What would you like the power to do? References to charitable organizations is not an endorsement by Bank of America Corporation. Copyright 2025.
This is the plaintiff, Corey Watson. He says he rented a 3-bedroom house to the defendant and his wife, and they trashed his once beautiful place. The guy owes him back rent. He used the security to fix up the place, and he still owed $2,890. That's why he's suing. This is the defendant, Marvin Chambers. He says he lost his job during COVID. His wife left him and he fell a little behind on the rent. The plaintiff didn't honor the rent moratorium put into place during COVID, and the guy harassed him mercilessly. The plaintiff needs to be held accountable for the pain and suffering he caused him, and therefore he owes this guy nothing. He's accused of going on a rent strike. The defendant has filed a countersuit for $5,000 for harassment and defamation of character.
All parties, please get your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says he rented his once beautiful 3-bedroom house to the defendant, and the guy trashed it. But the defendant says the plaintiff didn't honor the COVID moratorium on evictions and locked him out illegally and put him on the street. It's the case of you're out of here.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay, Mr. Watson, you are suing Mr. Chambers for a bunch of rent that you say he still owes you after an eviction. And you, of course, have a counterclaim against him for $5,000 for harassment, pain and suffering, and defamation of character. All right, so Mr. Chambers, my understanding is, was renting from you since when? April, May of 2019? When was it?
Yeah, I worked with them on the deposit. They didn't even end up paying the full deposit. They had a
How much of a deposit did they give you?
They gave me $880 of the full $1,000 deposit.
And then, according to you, $500 of the security was non-refundable?
Yes, ma'am. That was on the lease.
Okay.
That he signed.
After the lease, by the way, what happens? You still have the security, of course, and then he goes month to month?
Yes. I agreed to work with him. I said that'd be okay.
Okay. So then what happens? When's the first time that you don't get complete rent?
The first time I did it was September 2020. In August, his partner, I guess, she informed me that she'd be leaving. She gave me a month notice, gave me her half rent of August. And then in September, all I got from Marvin was $100.
So he didn't pay the rest of September?
No, ma'am. He
didn't pay anything in October?
No, ma'am.
He didn't pay anything in November?
No, ma'am.
And you are just charging him prorated rent in December because at some point he leaves in December, correct? When do you file the eviction case against him?
My property management team did that, ma'am. I'll get to that in just a second, if that's okay.
Yeah, get there sooner. So the property manager actually files all that stuff when?
The property management team, they filed on November 4th.
Okay. All right. Now, Mr. Chambers, what happened? Why was it that you didn't pay September rent?
Your Honor, September was paid. I gave him $600 cash, and he said, don't worry about the other because I know you're going through something with you and your wife.
Okay, I'm going to need to see a receipt for the $600.
He never, after my wife left, when I gave him money, he never gave me a receipt. He didn't give me a receipt.
But see, here's the thing. The guy who wants to prove he gave $600 is you. So anyone who lets cash leave this hand needs to have a receipt go into this hand before they let go. You see? Because anybody could say I paid cash, right? What about in October?
Yeah.
Did you pay rent in October?
No. October was when I tried to file for the paper for the COVID, so you won't get put out. The moratorium or whatever.
Okay, I don't know what it's called, but essentially it's assistance for someone who can't pay their rent so that they don't get evicted?
Yes.
Okay, so you applied for what, the county or the city to be able to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I even had a few churches offering to give him money, and they called him, but he turned them down because it wasn't the whole amount. Then I got a job a week or two later, so I texted him to say, hey, can we work out something, get on the payment plans so I can catch up on rent? He said, well, if you don't have $1,300 by this date, you're going to have to get out. And I was like, hey, that's why I filled the paperwork out. And then on the first day of work, him and his management team, which I don't know who she is, because I've been dealing with him since I moved in. I thought he was a private landlord. They came and changed my locks while I was at work.
Really?
So I get off work. Yes. So then they text me where his management lady, whoever she was, she texted me at work and started harassing me.
What did she say?
She said, hey, you no good, such and such. If you can't pay, you need to go and all this. I'm like, lady, who is you? And so when I got off work, I called the police department and told them that my locks was changed. And they say, sir, well, he did this illegally in the state of Arkansas, so you can break back in your house and change your locks, which what I did, which I also texted him and showed him after I'm like, hey, why you do that?
Wait a minute. So the police didn't call him and tell him to open up? They told you to break in?
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you break in? I mean, you're a big guy, I can tell, even though you're not in my courtroom.
What I did was I took a screwdriver to the back door that he knew that was kind of messed up since we moved in there, and just popped the lock open.
So that wasn't too hard. All right, so you were able to get in right away.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I have a question for you, Mr. Watson. Did you change the locks on him?
Me personally, I did not, no.
Well, who did at your direction? Because you're the landlord. Nobody's doing it the neighbor didn't do it. Who did it?
Yeah, well, I hired the property management team, and they said they would help get him out.
So your property management team, did you pay them?
Yes, I'm still in agreement with them right now.
Okay, so I think that's hysterical. So they're the ones who changed the locks because it's 100% illegal.
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff says the defendant trashed his house and it's going to cost $3,000 to fix, and he wants that money from the guy. But the defendant says the plaintiff broke the law and he needs to pay him the $5,000 he's countersuing for. Let's go back into the courtroom.
Did you know they were changing the locks? Be honest. Be honest.
No, honestly, I did not know. This is how it went.
So when they changed, how did you find out they changed the locks? Because he texted you?
No, my friend actually worked at New Door. He sent me a picture of them changing the locks, and I didn't know it was illegal.
I know. It sounds super juicy, and I get it. It sounds great. Nothing sounds better than that. Someone's not paying you. It's your property. Who does he think he is? Get out, or I'll take you out. Sounds awesome, except it's illegal because the law says you cannot take the law into your own hands. You have to file an eviction case. But you may not know that, but darn, the property management company better know that. And maybe in their minds, he's not going to be savvy and he won't call the police. What do you think this guy was going to do? You don't think he's going to break in there and get his stuff? Because his stuff is still in there. Did you put his stuff out or his stuff was still in there?
I never went in the house.
No, I think they left your stuff in there, right, Mr. Chambers? They didn't put your stuff out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can I add something?
So they're not even good at the lockout. Because obviously he's going to get back in there. Okay. So when do you get out? December what?
I got out December 9th because he forgot to mention that he typed up a fake eviction notice from his home computer and stuck it on my door.
No, that's the first step, is that the landlord themselves have to put a type of notice and put it on your door. You can't go to court until you've done that, so it's not fake.
Okay, I was just,
Yeah. No, that's all right.
But my thing was, I wasn't trying to live there rent-free. It was just that, I was going through with my wife and, I gave this man almost $20,000, a lot of money.
Well, no, but you lived there 2 years. It's not, okay.
Yeah, so, that's what I'm saying.
All right, listen, I get what you're saying to me. You were struggling. Yes. You lost half the income paying for the rent because your wife and and you separated. You lost your job. You didn't get your job again until later. I get all that. You have certain protections. Your protection is nobody's allowed to lock you out. And you have this, of course, the CDC protections and whatever protections your state of Arkansas would give you. But you need to understand that any protection anybody gives you never wipes out the rent, ever.
Yeah, I understand that.
The rent is always due. That is a contract between two private parties.
Yeah, that's true.
So what I have to do is enter an order that establishes how much you owe. And I also wanted to know, there was some security deposit. Can we talk about that now? You agree that $500 of it was always non-refundable, right?
Yeah, it was something like that in the rent. So but I gave him the full amount.
Okay, let's see what the lease says and whether you have it. Let's hope the lease says that you gave it to him.
And I have a witness.
Who's your witness?
My ex-wife.
Oh, well, we're doing that right now. Let's get the witness up.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Crystal Jones.
Crystal. Okay, Ms. Jones. Do you remember how much of a security you paid?
We paid the whole security deposit. When we moved in, he agreed to let us do it over 3 months' time, and that's how we did it.
I'm going to need to see some canceled checks or some receipts. Do you have any, Ms. Jones?
I didn't write. I gave him cash every single time we paid.
Good. And did you get a receipt?
Sometimes he would come to the house. Sometimes he would come to the house, and he would say, hey, I don't have my receipt book, but I'll give it back.
Okay, I need you to listen to what I'm going to say. Everybody needs to listen to me. Don't ever in your lives, ever again, give somebody cash without having a receipt. You can't just say it.
Then why doesn't he need to prove that I only gave him $8.90?
Okay, because here's how it works. Well, that's an excellent question. Here's how it works. You're telling me I gave him $1,000. He's giving you credit for $8.90 without seeing any further proof from you. If he walked in here and said, she gave me $0, he could get away with it because the person who's asking for the deposit back are you guys. So you're the guys with the burden shifts from him to you when you say you paid the full $1,000. What is it you're looking at, Mr. Watson, to show me that it's not $1,000, that it's $8.90?
Oh, I kept up with it every month of what they paid me. I did not write receipts. I did. I guess I got too content because the rent I had before that paid on time.
She kind of talked me out of it. While I'm explaining to her, I kind of talked myself out of it because your lease is different than most leases. Most leases say X was paid or X will be paid by such and such a date. Let's read your lease. A deposit of $1,000 is required by the resident, and $500 is non-refundable. You don't say here, oh, she's going to pay it in time. Basically, your lease says there's a $1,000 deposit. So why isn't she right that they should get credit for a $1,000 deposit if you're not writing anything about how it was partially paid in there? I think she's right.
Well, I mean.
All right. So let's talk about this. According to you, yes, it is, because you don't give receipts and you don't have carbon copies of receipts, and what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Okay. Well, she's a smarty pants, and you shouldn't have let her go, Mr. Chambers. All right, so, Mr. Watson, let's talk about the condition that Mr. Chambers left the place in. Did you take pictures of how he left it?
Yes. There were numerous pictures that I took.
What's this?
Yeah,
this is a dog chewing. Did you have a dog there, Mr. Chambers?
Yes, we did.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Ooh, the dog was even getting at the windows. That doesn't look good.
Yeah, I mean, like I say.
Ooh, what happened to that door? What happened to that door? That's a fist.
Yeah, well, I was moving something and it hit it.
I don't know. It looks like a fist. How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot. 6 foot.
You sure that's not a fist?
No.
Okay. Well, either way, it's a damaged door.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm admitting to it. I mean,
yeah. I got to tell you, that's more than. Well, let's stop a second. I don't need to look any further because that alone is more than $500 worth of damage. So I'm very clear on the $500 because $500 of the deposit was non-refundable. The other $500 goes with the damages. Now where are we? Now we have $2,890 in rent that's due, and we got a guy who did an illegal lockout. And so now what do I have? Now I'm the judge, and I want to impose a penalty on the illegal lockout. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find that illegal lockout is going to cost Mr. Watson a symbolic $250. And I'm going to find that you owe him the rest of the rent, which is $2,640. Verdicts for Mr. Watson. On your counterclaim against him, obviously not $5,000. What I'm finding is that you're entitled to a $250 break on the rent for the illegal lockout as a symbolic gesture because they're not allowed to do that. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chambers, how do you feel about the outcome of this case? I can't believe you're surprised.
Like everything else in this country, it always go for the other way. Like everything else, people that do wrong always get done right.
All right. Okay. Mr. Watson, let me ask you, how do you feel
sir.
about the outcome of the case?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. I feel like that he should have been liable to pay, and I feel like the judge seen that as anybody should have. It ain't like that I didn't pay for the house or been paying for the house. I had bills as well, and I went to work. So I'm very happy with how it turned out.
All right, Harvey, let's get your take on this case. What are you thinking?
Doug, one of the issues here is whether the defendant paid the rent or not. I am telling you, please listen to me on this, that if you are a renter and you are paying rent, you've got to get some form of receipt. If you write a check, that's fine. If you give him the money, the cash, get a receipt.
I've been separated from my wife since 1994. Does she have a right to the home I just bought on Social Security?
This is someone who's been separated from their wife for 27 years.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, he bought a house, and I guess he's on Social Security now, so he probably isn't really well off. He's
I think that was the point of him
scraping to
adding
make
that.
ends meet. But
he bought a
that house is what we judges call marital property, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's co-owned by him and his wife.
Yeah.
And there's no getting around it.
I mean, if she turns around and files a divorce now, it's property that was acquired during the course of the marriage.
That's right. I wish I had better news for the guy, but what's baffling to me is how do you stay separated for almost 30 years and never actually go ahead and end it?
Do you know who did that?
Who?
Yeah, my grandmother.
Really? Your grandmother?
She was separated from her first husband passed away. She was separated from her second husband for almost 30 years, and they never got a divorce.
I'll be darned.
They didn't own anything, so it didn't matter.
Right.
But they just never bothered to get a divorce. And when I used to ask her why, she would say, mejor sola que mal acompañada.
Better alone than
poorly accompanied. I'm like, no, I'm not asking why you're separated. I'm asking why you're not divorced, you know?